Man, I'm still getting over this cold, but starting to be better. Oh, my chair's way too high. There we go. All right, so we are live. Thank you everybody for joining. My name is Tim, and I'm glad you're here. I want to discuss one of my favorite topics. And I'll be doing these every single day. Well, try to do them every single day, but um, it's about mindset and the power of mindset and faith and transforming your lives, our lives in business. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tim. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, founder of Messiah Crew, and I've spent, you know, probably about the last year and a half helping individuals, not only break free of limiting beliefs, but achieve their goals in cultivating like a oriented mindset, right? To deepen, not just their faith, but their business. Um, so if you're looking to start a business and you just don't know how, and a lot of times, those limiting beliefs prevent us from, reaching that potential, right? And you're never going to know unless you try. So I just suggest that you try. So, today I just want to talk about, unlocking your full potential by understanding the power of, mindset and how, faith can play a crucial role in this transformation, and first you have to understand really what mindset is, right? Because it's essentially the set of beliefs and attitudes that we hold, about ourselves and the world around us, right? And a lot of times we have limiting beliefs, whether people have put on us or we've put on ourselves. And you have a fixed mindset and you have a growth mindset, right? And a fixed mindset is when we believe our abilities, talents, and intelligence, right, are inchangeable, right? That mindset can hold us back, because it makes us, it prevents us from avoiding challenges, right? And that's fear. A lot of times it's fear because we get threatened by other people's success. And then I always say that's wonder if that's why most people sit on the sidelines and expect the same results, right? Without putting in the work. They're afraid. They feel threatened about other people's success. On the other hand, the growth mindset, you know, was there's a popular psychologist called Carl Dweck. Um, and it's pretty cool, that the belief that our abilities and intelligence can develop through dedication and hard work, right? This mindset is going to encourage us to embrace challenges and persist through challenging obstacles, and then you're going to see effort as a path to mastery, and mindset is impacts every aspect of our lives. And I talk about mindset quite often because I was how do I say it, I just broke past a lot of limiting beliefs, and I was able to become free, um because I lived with mindsets that were destroying me and my family for the past 20 years. I've been married for 15 years, and my wife can attest that you'll definitely know when you are free, right, from those limiting beliefs and those mindsets that are holding you back. And in every aspect, your mindset is going to determine your trajectory, right? It's going to determine how you approach your challenges, how you interact with others, right? It's going to influence your personal and professional life, right? Every single day. So the mindset is a huge, huge impact on just life. And limiting beliefs, those are the false beliefs that we hold about ourselves and our capabilities that prevent us from reaching that full potential, right? And they can develop from past experiences. They can, societal expectations, and a lot of times it's just negative self-talk, right? And that's why it's important to take every thought captive. That's why the Bible talks about renewing your mind. That's why when you step into these circles, you look at the mindsets of other individuals who are successful, and you see what the mindsets that they have, right? See what the character traits that they possess, and you'll start to see how you can try to start transforming and doing things to get rid of those limiting beliefs, right? And a lot of times you might think that you're not good enough to start your own business, because that's what exactly what I did, right? For many years, I wanted to do a t-shirt company, but I thought that I wasn't smart enough, right? I wasn't good enough, you know, and learning new skills is incredibly challenging for me, right? It takes me 3 to 5 times longer to retain information and learn things, but I have to learn things in my own way, in my own pattern, in my own, in my own way. I'll just say that, right? So these beliefs can be incredibly powerful and can hold us back from many areas in our life. And that's essentially what happened to me for many years, right? I had limited beliefs that prevented me from being successful in a lot of different areas in my life. And that's nobody's fault but my own. So you know it's just by recognizing these beliefs, right, it's going to be the first step to overcoming them, right? So is what I did is I took time to write down limiting beliefs that I had, right? And I started to write down those limiting beliefs, and I started to check them off one by one when I would start to break those limiting beliefs. And a lot of times it's writing notes. A lot of times it could be, um, writing scripture, whatever the case may be. So that way you can start to renew your mind, transform your mind, and start to, have a positive mindset. Because a lot of negative, a lot of limited beliefs are usually just they're just negative self talk. And you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not loved, you're not whatever the case may be. And it's a simple act to do, right? And start using I am statements. I am good enough. I am smart enough. I am intelligent. I am capable. Those things, right? Start writing those things down and do it every single day. And maybe write sticky notes and put those around so that way you can see them quite often, right? So you can start to break those limiting beliefs. So you can start to tear those lies down, and you can start creating um, that positive mindset, right? And faith has definitely played a huge role for me, right, in transforming my mindset, right? Because it provides me with a sense of purpose, strength, and resilience. So, my own faith journey has, been it's been profound. It's had a profound impact on my mindset. You know what I mean? And it's helped me overcome numerous challenges and stay focused on my goals, right? So that's another thing, is make sure that because a lot of times you have to have something greater than yourself, right? And that's where faith comes in. And that's where God comes in. And there are many biblical references that support the power of faith in overcoming obstacles and beliefs, right? And one of my favorite verses, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? So this just reminds me that with faith, we have the strength to overcome those challenges, and any challenge at that fact, with that matter. So, just think about that. Just think about that for a second. Yep, exactly. And faith is going to encourage us to trust God, you know what I mean? And to believe that we are capable of achieving greater things, right? It's going to help us stay positive and motivated, even in the face, well, even through our trials and tribulations and struggles, whatever you want to call them. But that's the greatest thing is when you start to read scripture, you start to read this ancient knowledge, you're going to start to see, you're going to start looking at things in a different lens, right? Because a lot of this scripture, it's going to help you in forms of renewing your mind, right? It's going to help you break those limited beliefs, and you're going to be able to see God in you, and God in you, and you in God, right? And it's almost like living on a higher plane, or in an alignment with God, right? Because when you start to live by the fruits of the Spirit, when you start to live in a higher residency, for whatever you call it, because again, you could either be negative or positive, and it's a lot easier to be negative. I haven't figured out why. If anybody's got a good reason why being negative is so easy compared to being positive, then you can leave them in the comments. But in my journey, it's always been a lot easier to be negative than it is to be positive. Hey, what's up, Cash Cowboy or Cars? Yeah. But it took a lot of effort, and I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It took a lot of effort you know, to start to renew my mind. And God, with God's help, though, you can do that. When you start to live in a plane of maybe an attitude of gratitude. That's one thing that really helped me out, is I started to really resonate with the attitude of gratitude, because I was always complaining and crying basically about just stupid little things that I shouldn't be crying about. And anyway, when I started to live through a more of a attitude of gratitude lens, I started to appreciate a lot of the things around me more. You know, just by waking up every single day, you should have an attitude of, wow, I woke up today, right? Because before, I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh man, I woke up today. That sucks. Well, it sucks. What am I gonna do today? So I'd have to find something to be angry at. I'd have to find something to be pissed off at. I had to have an enemy in order to get out of bed. Right? I had to have an enemy. And that enemy was usually, it could have been anybody. It just depended on, who I was thinking of that day, right? Who I was gonna crush that day. You know what I mean? And it that's what drove me out of bed. I want to be stronger, I want to be better, I want to be smarter, I want to be the best I can be at my job. So who am I going to get out of bed today for, so I can crush you know crush that. And it's very competitive, especially in like the kitchen world. And a lot of professions, being competitive is very good, but it also could be very negative depending on how you do it. And I was doing it in a very negative way. But once I started to see, you know, through a different lens, and I started to really feel God's love, and knowing that um, there's nothing that I have to do in order to to get God's, acceptance or love, right? I felt like I had to do a lot of things in order to receive God's love. And that's not the case, right? You just have to, you have to build that relationship. You have to have a relationship with God, and when I started to realize those things, and I started to really, put my faith in it, right? I tried to start to, I started to live by the fruits of the Spirit, and I tried to, live in a higher residency or an alignment with God, and tried to just cancel out the world and all the negative self-talk or limiting beliefs or whatever was going through my head. And I did that with various methods. Not all methods are going to be the same, and everybody's going to have different results. But attitude of gratitude was a huge one for me. And having doing mindfulness techniques, um, and by having an attitude of gratitude, I was able to really start to like look at the blessings that were around me. You're going to be able to see the blessings around you when you start to live an attitude of gratitude. And when you're going to start thanking God for the air in your lungs, right? The eyes to see, the mouth to speak, and ears to hear. Because again, not everybody gets that. Not everybody gets the ability to see and hear and breathe. And you have to think too that somebody else didn't wake up today, right? Somebody else's mom, dad, daughter, son didn't wake up today, but you did. So what are you going to do with your life to make your life worthwhile or meaningful or helpful to others? And I keep telling myself this too, like my life could be somebody else's survival guide. My life could be the only Bible that somebody reads. So what am I doing today to put my story out there? Because again, we all have stories, we all have testimonies, and the Bible talks about us sharing our testimony. And I think it's really important for us to be doing that. You don't have to be a scholar, you don't have to be a theologian, right? You just have to tell people what God is doing in your life and how you got out of the darkness, right? And how the light transformed that darkness. You know what I mean? Like that's really all it is. And you have to be able to believe that we are capable of achieving great things. And that's about changing your mindset. And that comes with renewing your mind daily. And that, can require many different things. Some people it's, spending time in the secret place. Some people it's reading their Bible daily. Some people it's reading self-help books. Some people it's, you find what works for you. But mindset is the most crucial thing that you can have, especially within this business world. So, sorry, I'm getting over a cold if I'm a little stuffy and nasally. But, when you start to think of this, whether you want to think that, there's an adversary out there, or, there's something that's trying to pull you down, right? Well, there is, right? There is an adversary, there is a negative energy, there is something out there that is trying to pull you to a negative field, right? Because it's a lot easier to be negative, and that's what I've been trying to figure out, and I've been learning, like, why is it so easy to be so much so much more negative than it is to be positive, right? But when you start to think about, cultivating, I guess, growth, one thing, especially in mindset, right? You have to be able to think of this as taking on challenges. Like, you have to be able to think of these things as like, this is a challenge that I'm going to accept this challenge. I'm going to write things down. I'm going to write down all my negative beliefs. I'm going to write down all my fears, whatever the case may be, so that way I can start to break those chains. And again, it's a lot harder than what it sounds like. It definitely takes work. It definitely takes time. It takes effort. And not everything's going to happen overnight, but you have to be able to embrace challenges, right? You have to look at those as opportunities to learn, right? So instead of avoiding these challenges, instead of avoiding these steps or these things that you need to do, right? You have to remember that every challenge is a chance to improve and improve new skills, right? And develop new skills. So that's why a lot of people don't step out of those negative beliefs. That's why a lot of people don't break those negative chains, or those chains that are holding them back, because it takes work, it takes effort. And I feel like everybody wants just like this pretty little box presented to them, and everything's just supposed to be okay. Well, that's not how it works, right? Because you're going to have to be persistent in the face of setbacks. Because even if you get in the business world, you're going to be you're going to see a lot of setbacks. You're going to see a lot of trials and tribulations, and things are going to set you back. And that's just a natural part of growth. But instead of most people give up. Most people give up before the going gets good, right? Because something happened, and now they think, well, I guess that wasn't for me, or maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. They start to get in their head, and then they give up, when all they had to do was maybe take that setback and take it into a learning experience and keep going and driving, and make it motivation, right? To keep going, right? Because you have to recognize that hard work and effort are definitely essential for growth, and you're going to have hard work. You're going to have to put in time. And that's what I keep telling everybody too. Like, everybody wants time freedom and financial freedom. Everybody thinks it's some magical thing that's just pops out of nowhere and happens. Like, all of a sudden, I'm just going to start having time freedom. I'm going to start having money freedom. It's not how it works, because freedom in itself isn't free. Any of my veterans out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's like, freedom is not free. There's sacrifice that has to come with freedom. So if you want time freedom, then you're going to have to spend your time doing things that are going to put you in a category to where you can start achieving time freedom. You're going to have to, start to spend time in maybe building a business, reading books that are going to align with your goals or your beliefs, so that way you can achieve better success. It's not something, and that's why I keep saying, everybody sits on a sideline complaining about how everybody else has these awesome results, and everybody else is being successful, and yet they don't want to do the work. They don't want to take the time to put the work in. And then you wonder why. You can wonder why, we are where we're at. So you have to, and then criticism too is another thing. You have to be able to, have constructive criticism, right? And use that as a tool instead of taking it personally. It's like, I find that everybody, when you start to, tell people things that they need to improve on, or, things that they could do differently, or maybe they shouldn't be doing this or that, whatever the case is, it's like a personal attack. And it's like, and also, if I don't believe the same things that you believe, or if I disagree with you, it's like everybody, it just turns into a war, because now it's like, now we're enemies. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to teach you and give you some constructive criticism, right? So that way you can improve. But a lot of times people take that negatively, and that itself holds them back. So you have to be able to take constructive criticism too, right? And you have to be able to, you know, find inspiration in others rather than finding faults and finding, an enemy, right? Because you feel threatened by other people's success, right? Use it as inspiration, right? Learn from their experiences and apply that to your daily life. That's simple. That's the simplest thing I could say, because when I quit thinking of everybody as an enemy, you know, it started to really open my eyes, and I started to see them as individuals. And then I started to see the little things that they would do so that way they could be successful. Because I want to know. I want to know what you're doing to be successful. I want to know what you're doing so that way I can start to implement that in my life, right? And it may work, it may not work. So I take little bits and pieces from different people, right, that are successful, and I implement those things in my life so that way maybe I can achieve that success someday, right? And that's with, that's part of, that's just part of, growth, right? You can't be stagnant, because if you want success, you can't just keep doing the same things that you've been doing and expecting the same results, right? That's insanity. So you have to be able to look at other people's lives, look at other people who are successful, maybe read their book, right? Get a grasp of their mindset. And that's what I'm talking about. Mindset is crucial, right? Now, the things that I've really incorporated within, my life was daily prayer and meditation, right? I spending time in prayer or meditation is going to help strengthen your faith, right? The more time you spend with the creator, the more characteristics you're going to bring on. And again, when you start to spend more time with people who are in a successful field or in a you know, more successful arena, then you're going to start to maybe bring on those characteristics when you read their books, when start to study them, and you start to adopt the different mindsets that they've, trying to teach you, right? And scripture reading is also really good too. And that's what I've done as well. I take scripture and I'll write them out and I'll post them different places, right? So that way, it can reinforce, that positive thinking, that motivation, that negative self-talk, can just you can just cut that down. You know what I mean? And then I always, talk about, you have to definitely make sure that, you can't, you have to surround yourself with the right people, the right community, right? And you're going to know your future by who you hang out with. Somebody told me that a long time ago, and it took me a while to really figure that out. But, surround yourself with people, right, that are going to be supportive in your faith and your journey. You know, chickens can't fly with, what was it? What was another saying? They say, you can't fly with eagles when you flock with chickens, right? So you have to think about that. And, it's just one of those things that you have to be able to, connect with other people that, share your faith and share your goals, and that are going to connect with you in those ways. So I just urge you to kind of think of those things. That those are things that I've really honed in on, daily prayer and meditation, scripture reading, affirmations. I tell myself affirmations quite often. There's sometimes that I fail, but that's the beauty of it, is that, you got other people in your corner that are going to say, no, that's not true. You are smart. You are capable. You are worth it. You know what I mean? And if you guys have kids, that's a huge, huge, you could see the blessing every single day by them just running around, and seeing them grow and seeing them, the different their personalities, right? You're going to be able to see all the blessings in your life when you start to live through, a different lens of, it could be whatever lens, you want to try. I chose, daily affirmations and a attitude of gratitude, right? And the Bible talks about, you know, how our words shape our reality and how our words have power. And when you start to put those words into existence, right, it starts to shape and change a lot of, your mindset and your reality. So I think it's really important for us to be doing that as well. And, I struggle daily. There's times where I'm like, man, I should just stop or quit, or I don't know what I'm doing, or, I've been working on this problem for the last week, and what am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do it. What am I doing? But, that's where doing these things are going to help you, because it's not just you can just have, you can just say a daily meditation or prayer or affirmation one day and then think that your mindset is going to change. No, you have to continually renew your mind every day. That's why Paul says to renew your mind. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, you can leave them in the comments. If you guys want to hear more about these topics, definitely let me know in the comments. I just do this mainly for myself as well, and I hope that you guys get something out of it as well. If you guys want a Christian clothing brand, I own one. It's called messiahcrew.com. Or see, again, that's one of those things that I messed up, is my website. So you can go to God's Forge, JODZ Forge.com, and you can get your Messiah Crew gear. Yeah, I don't know what I did to my, again, talking about setbacks. That's a setback. I don't know what I did, but somehow I changed my domain, and my domain got switched into a Google workspace. I don't know how I did that. I don't know if I accidentally did that, but I've been trying to work on it for over a week to try to figure out how to get it over. And I tried to switch it to Cloudflare, but that doesn't seem to be working. I have to change the name server, and I don't even know what a name server is or where to even find that on the Google workspace, because when I go to domains, it doesn't have the DNS records. So I'm trying to figure out how to find the DNS records for my Google workspace and how to change that. And anyway, if anybody knows how to do that, please let me know. I will pay you, because I need to get my messiahcrew.com back over to where it belongs, which is my t-shirt company. So for now, it's God's Forge, and hopefully we can get that switched over soon. But again, that's a setback, right? You have to be adaptable. You have to continue to push. Most people are going to quit. Most people are going to give up and say, well, I screwed this up, so I guess I'm not good enough. So why keep going, right? And that's exactly what has gone through my head several times. But when you start to change your mind, you start to tear those beliefs down quicker than you can think of, quicker than you could think of them. When you start to have those thoughts, just nope. I say, nope, I can do this. I'm going to figure it out, right? God's going to show me. God's going to put somebody in my life that's going to help me in this situation. And that's what I do, and it just takes effort and it takes time to start to cultivate that mindset and start to, really just hone in on those negative thoughts. So that's my daily mindset motivation for today. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you guys want to hear about anything as far as mindset or motivation, anything particular, let me know. If you guys want to share your mindset struggles, your setbacks, whatever the case may be, you can leave them down below and in the comments, and I'll read them. And maybe I'll start having a Q&A, where I talk about, mindsets with, your comments. But other than that, God bless, and we'll see you guys.